Remember sitting through a lengthy presentation where the speaker just reads everything on a textually heavy slide? At some point, people stop listening, you included, not because the topic is unimportant, but because the presentation material is difficult to follow. This is a major problem with traditional presentations. Too much text, too little engagement. Information retention then lessens.
Now this is the gap that multimedia fills in. Multimedia utilizes effective elements such as images, graphs, animations, and sound effects to make communication clearer and more engaging. This aligns with Richard Mayer's cognitive theory of multimedia learning. People learn better when information is presented through both words and visuals, not text alone.
And it really makes a difference, especially in academic presentation. Imagine explaining statistics and economics using only paragraphs. It sounds daunting, right? But when you use graphs, diagrams, or short clips, you allow complex ideas to be more memorable and digestible. Studies in 2025 supports this and reports that students were more participative in learning when multimedia presentations were used. So, how do we actually use multimedia effectively?
According to Clark and Mayer in 2023, effective multimedia should support learning, not distract audiences. Guided by their work, here are some strategies for effective multimedia utilization. First, avoid making your slides look chaotic, with random animations and too many unnecessary elements. Second, a good presentation has a balanced visual with readable fonts, concise text, and intentional audio. This supports the speaker and avoids distracting the audience. And third, every transition should feel smooth and coherent. Keep the flow of ideas natural, connected, and easy to follow.
Lastly, remember that multimedia should always be used responsibly. Elements from other sources must be properly cited because these materials still belong to their original owner. Much like in academic writing, credibility and ethical communication matter in presentations as well. Not just for aesthetics, the goal is to make communication more intentional. And communication is also about critically selecting and delivering ideas in a credible way.
Moving into the second part of this presentation, we reflect on our journey through this course. One of our primary takeaways is that academic writing is a systematic transition from selecting credible sources to producing original and critical knowledge. Every stage has an impact that affects the quality of how we communicate our objectives. In essence, we must develop a sound and valid perspective from the resources we have rather than merely restating others' ideas. True academic mastery lies in the ability to be both a consumer of information and a creator of substantial knowledge.
Building on that, I've learned that the quality of your sources also dictates the depth of your work. While it is a fundamental skill to categorize materials using Eaton's hierarchy of sources, it is an entirely different competency to tactically assess which information aligns with your specific objectives. Furthermore, the practice of proper paraphrasing and citation establishes our credibility within the academic community. It lets others recognize the value of our work as it is well-founded. Authentic scholarship demands that we honor the intellectual property of others while integrating their ideas with their own.
Moving forward, we emphasize that clarity comes from accuracy and conciseness. Vague language obscures meaning, whereas precise and clear words sharpen our sentences. Through the note-taking strategy by Gilshow, we can condense complex information from sources into direct, manageable points before writing. The economy of language ensures that every word serves a specific purpose in our work.
In addition to this, a critical writer identifies the logic or the lack thereof within a claim and the evidence that comes with it. From there, we actively clarify our own ideas, identify our own thesis, and ask ourselves what stance we can responsibly take based on these ideas presented, as mentioned by Cottrell in 2017. Most importantly, we learn to make a focused academic judgment supported by analytical and critical reasoning.
We also recognize that academic writing extends beyond formal documentation. At its core, it is a form of communication that encourages people to share ideas. Whether through multimedia, or essays, or presentations, academic communication allows us to be critical thinkers when analyzing and presenting, and to provide solutions that will impact society. In conclusion, effective multimedia integration helps strengthen academic presentations by analyzing and explaining information more clearly. COMM 2 taught us how to communicate academically through proper conducting of research and contributing ethically and responsibly to academic discussions. Multimedia is most effective when it supports authentic learning and credible communication. Thank you for listening.